Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode with Chuco Chica. Let me introduce you to David Hancock. He is the proud owner of the El Paso Boxing Club located on the west side. Thank you so much for having us and joining me today on an episode.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Of course. To let you guys know, if you are listening in, we are physically inside the El Paso Boxing Club ring. And this is something I've never done before.
Ignore the bloodstains. It's actually a friendly place, believe it or not.
I can see that. I love the vibes and the energy already. My first question, okay? Starting into it, I was wondering if you can share with us what inspired this business to come to life.
Oh, well, I guess the original inspiration was, me boxing as a kid. I grew up in San Antonio. I used to box at the AAU Center on Lackland Air Force Base. And I can't remember, maybe somewhere between 10 and 12 years old we started that. And that's what started a love of boxing. Of course, just, boxers of the time back in the late 70s, early 80s. Joe Frazier was my favorite boxer growing up. That was the original inspiration. Actually, starting it as a business just kind of came up by accident. Some friends of mine would needed a place to train, and we kind of started a gym, and people started asking, hey, can we come hang out with you and train with you? And, I thought, well, hey, maybe we should charge these people. And next thing you know, we birthed the boxing gym.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's grown into, it's a great business, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great community, and I couldn't ask for better.
Oh. As a kid, who introduced you to boxing? Who signed you up? Who?
It was a friend of mine. His father, a friend of mine on the street, his father was a drill sergeant at Lackland Air Force Base. And, this is pre-video game, pre-cell phone. I mean, this was drinking out of the hose and staying gone all day on your bike. That was that time in American history for kids. And so in that process, we would wrestle and fight like boys do,
right.
throw things at each other and just be, friendly, aggressive, I guess you would call it. And that turned into like some light boxing. I can't remember. Somebody in our group had some boxing gloves, and we put them on. We thought, hey, this looks like a great idea. And so we started, knocking each other around, and some black eyes and bloody noses and things like that. And he said, hey, why don't you guys come out to the base and try this for real? Yeah, so that's how it came about, just boys being boys.
Just boys being boys. I love that. When you and your friends, started this boxing club, how much or did you guys have to invest any money?
Well, the actual formal business, it wasn't a big investment as compared to, other businesses that you might want to start. But when we actually formally, formed an LLC and made it a business, so that was just me, and that was my wife and I that did that, and it was less than $10,000.
Wow.
Yeah, it was less than $10,000 to invest, and all of that was, of course, was the hardware, the actual equipment to start. And then, it's just been investments yearly, going forward after that. But the initial investment was maybe around $10,000, maybe a tick under.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What were the items initially bought during that time?
In that initial investment, it was we have you probably can't see it on camera, but a steel bag rack. It's about 8 feet tall, and it holds the punching bags. We have a small sparring ring, which we're sitting in now.
Yes.
Was probably, I believe, was part of that initial investment. Gloves, protective gear, mitts, things like that. Nothing really special, nothing that's, that would be not in any other boxing gym, just the bare basics. And then along with that too was, proper business liability insurance. I believe it was the deposit and the first month's rent on the lease of the building. And we were often, and about $200 to form a very primitive website, which I designed myself.
Awesome.
And that website is still running today, and it is of probably 80% of the business leads that we get. And I have no training in
website making.
I can turn my computer on and I can check emails and I can do things like that. I mean, I'm over 50, so I'm a little behind the curve in the technology. So it is the most primitive website that you could probably make. And at first, people would make fun of me about it and say it wasn't going to work. But now it's kind of become a novelty. Like everybody goes, oh, well, the Paso Boxing Club's website. Well, it's real, the primitive nature of it is what everybody likes now. So it's kind of become a joke, but it's now kind of my trademark. And I designed that myself. That was about $200 part of that initial investment too. So, yeah, and that is www.elpasoboxingclub.com.
Perfect. We'll put it down in the description and on our Instagram.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so with that initial investment, what year, I guess, did you start?
Well, the formal LLC around 2019.
Okay.
Is when that started. We went into real formal business. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And it was pre-pandemic, or just before the pandemic. But when everything got shut down, we had a little difficulty there for a little while. But as the restrictions kind of laxed, people came. People were itching to come here. They wanted the physical activity. People that are interested in boxing, they were dying to come. So financially, we never really hurt. People were still part of the gym, and in fact, we grew during the pandemic.
Really?
We grew financially during the pandemic.
Wow. Did you do any sort of via class or anything like that online?
No, we didn't do anything online. As the restrictions allowed people to come in, we wore masks and did things like that.
Okay.
We tried to socially distance, whatever
the
regulations were. But it was just boxing training. I mean, we didn't spar or anything initially at that, but it moved pretty fast, and we were able to get right back to 100% pretty quickly.
Okay, gotcha. So when did you start the idea of having events, the spar events?
Well, sparring is part of training. So we spar every Wednesday at 5 o'clock and every Saturday at 11 o'clock in the morning. And so learning how to box, you have to have another person in front of you throwing punches.
Yes.
And you have to, learn how to control your emotions and control your breathing. So if you're actually learning how to box and really want to compete at the sport, you have to spar on a regular basis. So it's part of the training process. Now, we do hold events. Yes. We are licensed with the State Gaming Commission. We're licensed with the U.S. Olympic Committee, with USA Boxing, to hold various kinds of events. And it goes in stages. So the entry level to boxing would be what we call showcase events. Those are put on right here where you're sitting. We, believe it or not, this building is not big, but we hold about 150 guests to come watch these events. We remove a lot of the equipment in here, and we fight here. Now, showcase fighting is what you call match fighting. We work with other gyms. For example, if I've got a 17-year-old male that weighs 130 pounds, I talk to my colleagues at other gyms, and they say, hey, I've got a kid, same age, same approximate weight. They've been training about the same length of time. We negotiate a round length that we feel is safe for their fitness level, somewhere between 1 minute and 2 minutes long, and we match that fight. We try to make it as safe as possible without someone being dominated or overwhelmed. And that's your, that would be your entry level into the sport. From there, you actually obtain your license with the U.S. Olympic Committee, where you get what's called a USOC passbook.
Okay.
And that's where you start going into sanctioned events, and you have to fight within an age bracket and a weight group. That's where you actually start accumulating your amateur record. And I tell people that are familiar with sports, you would liken that to showcase fighting would be like playing football down the street here at Franklin High School. Stepping up into USA boxing events is like going from Franklin to the University of Texas to start playing football. It's a jump up in caliber of competition and talent. So The showcase fighting makes a great way for people that maybe aren't as athletic, maybe don't want to take it as serious. They just want to kind of dabble in the sport as a mild hobby. So that's it's a great way for them to compete. And then USA boxing events are for kids that actually want to take their amateur career maybe to a national or world caliber level. You can actually start accumulating points in an Olympic year to go to national tournaments or be invited to the U.S. Olympic trials, represent the U.S., the national team. It can go that far. It's also a great segue if they want to make a living at it and try to advance into the professional ranks. So that's the difference between the two areas there. And then here at El Paso Boxing Club, we do have a stable of professional fighters that have gone through that. Gabriel Rodriguez from San Elizario, Texas, is one of our professionals. We fought most recently out in Ontario, California. I believe it was November. He's scheduled to take a fight next month. I believe it's. No, I take that back. It's in May. It's Memorial Day weekend in Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we'll be fighting on Box TV, and you can find us on our website or Instagram about more about that event. That's a Pro-Am event, so some of our highest ranked amateurs are also going to be on that card.
Wow.
And some of these kids, I say kids, they're actually grown men, 18 to 22.
Yeah.
They're moving through the amateur ranks, and this is a great way for them to kind of experience that pro environment.
Okay.
And it will probably be them taking the next step into pro boxing after that event as well.
With these events and them moving forward in their boxing career, is this something El Paso Boxing sponsors? Does it come with their membership? How do they pay for where they're going?
That's a great question. So our dues are $98 a month. And I tell everybody that is all inclusive. If you walk in here and you're the most talented boxer that El Paso has ever seen, and you didn't realize it, and you walk in here, you can come as much or as little as you want on your $98 dues. And that does cover me and my staff cornering your fights, training for fights. Obviously at the pro level, that involves, negotiating contracts with various states. Every state has its own individual gaming commission that has different rules for negotiating contracts, minimum fees. So sometimes in the pro ranks, we have to negotiate. Myself or my staff, we get compensated in some way. But for amateur fighting, taking it all the way to the national or world level, $98 a month, and you can take it that far. And I have, myself, I have a professional license, I believe, in 8 states. My assistant, his name is Angel Flores, and he's a professional cutman and also a professional coach, and he's licensed in the same states that I am. And so between the two of us, we do it all. We do our own negotiations on the contracts. Some states like California, their contracts are a little more complex, so sometimes I may seek the advice of a lawyer on an as-needed basis to make sure that we're being treated fairly and the fighters being treated fairly and safely. But for the most part, we do all of that in-house. And so we're a one-stop shop. We don't have to have a third party to promote. So with that being said, our fighters, they keep every penny of their purse. So if they make a couple $1,000s in a fight, they're not having to lose that money to various parties.
A percentage gets cut out.
Right. That money goes to them, and they've earned it. And so I think that makes us a little bit unique.
Different. Absolutely. I know obviously going out of town takes time and money, but for you to, I guess, support them outside of the gym is pretty great.
Well, we do that as much as we can. We're here to, help people kind of realize dreams. A lot of people walk into a boxing gym for various reasons. Some people find it as a place for salvation, to find themselves when they're lost. We have a lot of guys maybe that have made some poor choices early in their life, and some of them even have maybe done some prison stints and things like that, and they're trying to reform themselves. This is a great place to do that. I've also got people that just love to compete. and just say, hey, I've always wanted to do it. Maybe I was a high school or a college athlete, and now I'm married with kids, and I need a place to stay sane and come and be aggressive.
Unleash this.
Yes, and we have a small percentage of females that come. I've got a woman that comes to us. She's a full-time mother of a special needs son who she loves very much, and requires a lot of emotional and physical energy to take care of her son. And this is a great way for her to balance her life and kind of have some me time, so to speak, and take out some frustration. And so people walk through the door for a lot of different reasons. And so I take care of every one of them. If your dream is to train here and lose a little weight and get in shape, great, I can help you with that. If your dream is to kind of experience the sport, you don't want to get hurt, you don't want to commit, hours of your life to it, but you want to experience what it's like, I can do that for you. If you want to take it to a elite level and you really want to put in the time, I can do that as well. So yeah, we do invest in everybody.
I love that.
Yeah.
I feel this gym is different because it is outside of the gym and it's the connection. So you get those, I had a bad day at work,
right,
or I have amazing news, guess what?
Right.
And so you get to really know their outside in, because you are one of the coaches who not only get to be a lending ear, but also a guidance to their fitness journey. Yeah,
I'm glad you recognize that. That's exactly how I see it. And it is a family atmosphere. I mean, and I am personally invested in everybody that's here. And so much so that my assistant Angel, when he was becoming a coach and I was mentoring him and helping him get certified, I remember when he was cornering some of his first fights, he didn't realize how nervous he would be. And everybody that steps through these ropes, whether it's a sparring match or an actual sanctioned fight, you're putting your well-being on the line. And you worry about the people that you train. When my son growing up as a boxer, it was terrifying to watch him. I could fight 100 times easier than watching him fight once. But that same feeling, that whatever you want to call it, that intuition to take care of your fighter, even though these folks are not my biological children, it feels like they are. And I have the same nerves go through me when I corner a fight.
Oh, that is so special.
Yeah. I mean, at least that is for me. That's how it works for us. And we that's intentional. We do that on purpose. We want people to feel that way. We want everybody to feel that family environment. And we train every single person that walks through the door how to box. It doesn't mean you're going to get hurt. It doesn't mean you have to be hit in the face. It doesn't mean you ever have to have any contact of any kind. That's completely at the discretion of our members. But we do teach everyone the science of boxing.
That's amazing. Just to let you guys know, I am trying out a class this evening. I am super nervous.
Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous.
I'm excited to be in this community and try it out. It just, as a girl, boxing seems very intimidating, and I'm sure it is for a lot of people out there. But again, if I can do it, I'm hoping a lot of other girls can come out and
that would be
check
great.
This place out. Yeah.
That would be great. I mean, I make the joke that we're primarily a boys' club, and I don't set it up that way. I would love to have more female participants. Now, we do have some actual female combatants that actually compete with us. We've had some really great female fighters, some real U.S. Olympic Committee certified fighters that compete with us, and then we've got just some gals that just are here for the fitness benefit. I can tell you, and I'm speaking to the ladies here who like yourself, who seem intimidated by the boxing gym. You're not going to get a better workout. There's nowhere you can go. You can pay hundreds, even thousands of dollars for equipment or clubs. I'm telling you, you will not get a better workout. If you're looking to get toned, build a little muscle mass, shed some pounds, that will happen here. You won't even have to think about it. It just happens by default if you come consistently. You will learn some things and probably do some things that you never thought you could do. And you will be surprised at how gentlemanly our boys club can be and how well we'll take care of you and teach you and protect you and make sure you have a good experience.
Oh my goodness. That sounds amazing. But I'm still nervous.
Well, you can't not be. You can't not
We'll
be.
see how it goes.
Yeah. You're going to have a good time.
I'm excited. So you are a support system for these boys, for these men that come to work out.
Everybody.
And everybody.
Women. Ladies
and
too.
Women. Yes.
Ladies
yes.
too.
You are that support system. Outside of here, your personal life, your work life, who is your support system?
Oh, that's my wife, Kay. I mean, we met when we were 16 years old, so I know nothing but Kay in my entire adult life.
Oh
so
my goodness.
everything we have in our life, everything we've built, every business, our kids, every dollar we ever had, we made together. You know, I think she and I got married. We had $117 to our name, and so we've built everything, put ourselves through college, and we've done it all ourselves. So she is my support system. My son Joshua, he's 22, almost 23. You know, he's a graduate student at UTEP. He's a college football player at UTEP, and of course an excellent boxer, excellent athlete. My support system, his girlfriend Jasmine, who's also one of our boxers and has competed with us. You know, the three of them, Kay, Josh, Jasmine, that's my support system that keeps me going. Yeah.
I love that. When you got married with Kay, what did both of your parents say?
You know, she and I just were so close and gelled so well. Of course, again, we're older. It was a different time. You know, people didn't think that was as odd as they do nowadays. You know, I think I read somewhere that the average age of marriage has gone up to like 32 years old. I mean, we had been, you know, we were an old married couple by 32. I mean, you know, it was wild, but no, they didn't really say anything. We were, we had a very healthy relationship from the beginning. And so, she was a great athlete, you know, herself in her own right. She was all conference, all American track star.
Wow.
She ran cross country. She ran distance in track, you know, 1,500 meters, 3,000 meters, those types of distances. I tell everybody a great story about my wife, Kay, is that she is so dedicated to her fitness that she would run about 40 miles a week through both pregnancies that she had through 8 months of her pregnancies. And I remember her running through the neighborhood and with her belly, you know, out, and you know, you'd see some ladies would come up to her and say, "You shouldn't be running with that baby," and she'd go, "You know, shut up and mind your business and leave me alone." And yeah, so she had two very successful pregnancies.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never, honestly, I don't think I've seen a pregnant lady run.
Yeah. It was at the time. It was kind of. We had a very, I'll never forget that. His name was Dr. David Scholimer in San Antonio. He was our gynecologist, and a very smart guy, kind of on the cutting edge. And he had realized that at that time they were starting to get into the research of pregnancy, and that physical activity was actually healthy for the mom, healthy for the baby. And she was already, of course, obviously very active. Well, both of us were. Fitness was a gigantic part of our life and our relationship. So she just kept right on going with it.
Would you ever join her for a run?
Oh yeah. No, we both ran. I mean, and you know, competing as a boxer, running is a big part of it. And so, yeah, at that time in our life, in our early 20s, we were both. I think at some point she was running 40 to 50 miles a week, and I think at some weeks I was running 60 to 70 miles a week.
Oh my goodness.
You know, we were running marathons and around the state and things like that. That was part of what we did. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, running was a big part. Sports in general have been a big part of our lives. So, yeah.
How special. Thank you for sharing that side of your
Well, I've
world.
given you my pregnancy advice. I am not a doctor. I'm not a OB-GYN. So please consult your doctor before running 40 miles during your pregnancy.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so going back to the boxing
Sure.
side, given your background with a bachelor's degree in exercise and science and a master's in psychological counseling, how do you adjust your teaching methods based on an individual's personality type, Can you kind of
yeah.
get their energy?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's going back to what I was referring to earlier, that we try to make something contextually for everybody. And so it's kind of an individualized plan, I guess, is the best way to do it. Yeah, everybody has their own personality. Most importantly, they have their ability level. The last thing I want to do is to get somebody in deep water here and get them hurt and discouraged to where they feel embarrassed or humiliated, and they don't want to participate in the sport and don't want to be a boxing fan. So yes, I get to know people on a personal level, and I sometimes I ask them point blank, what's your end goal here? What are your intentions in being here? What is it that you want to accomplish? And when they tell me that gives me that
wiggle room.
Yeah,
to kind of
some wiggle room, but it also gives me a point of reference, that I can focus on, and that helps me create the plan. Like I told you, some people are here just strictly for fitness. Some people are here just strictly for a hobby. They do want to try a little contact, and I make sure that we, partner them with other people with the same intentions and the same ability. And try to make it positive for everyone. I don't know that necessarily my educational background plays into that. I'm sure it doesn't hurt. I've been a counselor with the local school district here for 26 years, and I've been working with kids and people. My wife is a therapist also, licensed with the state. So, dealing with people in crisis, that's part of our life too. So I think, although I never really thought about that part of my background playing into the boxing side of it, but I'm sure it doesn't hurt.
Share with me, how is this gym different from competitors?
Well, we are a real traditional boxing gym first. Let me say that. We train fighters. We train people how to fight. The primary difference from our major competitors, if you see a lot of the national chains that are open around, boxing is becoming kind of a fad, and it's becoming a new fitness craze because it is excellent for fitness. So you may go to some of these, nationally chained locations and find that it's what I call it is jazzercise with boxing gloves. So they're jumping around, they're getting your heart rate up, you're punching a bag, you're wearing some gloves. You maybe have a quote unquote boxing coach there to show you some real basic techniques, but it's really just exercise class. And I'm not knocking that. If it gets you out moving and it motivates you, that's great. We go that step further, that the cardio output that you'll do here just by the nature of the sport is going to be high. Like I told you before, you're going to get into shape here if you come consistently. But we will also actually teach you the tactics, the basic physical fundamentals, the strategic part of boxing, and you will learn the sport. And we also, whether it's contact or non-contact, we're going to get you in this ring with another human being in front of you and teach you how to move and teach you the geometry of controlling the ring. We will, again, contact or non-contact, you will learn to see what it looks like to have punches thrown at you. And we have different types of drills that we do that can teach somebody that without them getting hit, to where you can you can simulate as best as possible about what it looks like to be in a combative situation with another opponent. So I think that's what probably sets us apart, is that we do everything that the quote-unquote exercise-type places do, and then some, where you can actually learn the sport.
Amazing. With so much experience and practice, you said growing up, you were in boxing. From your coaches that you had growing up, what is some things that you've taken from their teaching methods that you've implemented in your own teaching?
Well, I think it's the biggest thing is just mental toughness. This sport more than anything is a mental struggle because you're constantly uncomfortable. Whether it's you're in cardiovascular crisis and feeling like your heart's going to come out of your chest because you just finished a round and you're just gassed, you're constantly sweaty. When you move forward into the actual art of boxing with an opponent, there's a lot of pain management, being able to control your emotions. you look at two different sports, two popular sports like football and boxing. Football goes in short bursts. You huddle up, you line up, you go for a few seconds, and you can just go on raw adrenaline, and you can, whatever it is, making a tackle or approaching a block, and you go just hard, and then you kind of cycle back down, huddle up, and do that again. Boxing, you're constantly moving, so the aerobic output is always there. Then you also have these anaerobic bursts in the middle of that, throwing punches, moving, slipping, dodging. Then you throw into that, maybe you take a big body shot, You have to control your emotions. You can't just lay around on the floor and go, oh, my side hurts, Well, the fight would be stopped. So I think that's the biggest thing that I take from the training as a kid. Young kids have a hard time dealing with that. Controlling their emotions, managing discomfort, managing being uncomfortable in any fashion, really. That's a big lesson that kids have to learn. And so that's the part of it that I love the most. It was a reason why I put my kids into sports, is to teach them how to deal with hardship, teach them how to deal with discomfort, how to push themselves out of their comfort zone to accomplish something. And that's something that I take a lot of pride in, that I can instill in young people and adults here at the gym. I think that those lessons go outside of the ring. They go into your life as a parent, as a spouse, as a business leader, or whatever facet of life that you're working in. I think it's invaluable.
Absolutely. I never expected boxing to have those qualities that you do need to, fight or overcome that challenge of the discomfort, of the controlling your emotions. Because I'm sure you get adults here that still don't know discomfort or how to control their emotions.
I think that's constantly, and I look at, modern society, and, everybody has an opinion about it, about where we're going, whether it's good or bad. And, some of it's good, some of it's bad. But I think one area that we might be lacking as Americans is that rugged durability, to be able to say, hey, this is what I want out of life. I can do it. I know I can do it. I believe in myself. I can do it. I may not be able to get there tomorrow or the next day or next week, but I have the staying power and the persistence to do it. And that's what boxing teaches. We have a lot of sayings. Well, I have a lot of sayings that have come along with me in 52 years of being on the earth that I apply here. One of them's on our website: fight hard, fight right. You have to fight hard, but you also fight with honor and dignity, and you do things correctly. I have another saying here that I tell everyone, that happiness is not a destination. It's not you don't fly there and then lay on the beach and sip Mai Tais. Happiness is a battle that you have to win, fight and win on a daily basis. Some days it's easier than others. Some years are easier than others. And so I teach people, control your destiny, control your level of happiness, control your contentment in your life. And I think the boxing skills teach that. If it feels hard and it feels like you can quit, take a deep breath, step back in. There's more in you, And so I think that self-discovery is definitely a part of the sport. It's what I love most about the sport.
I'm mind blown.
Yeah, well, you're going to experience it tonight.
Oh, my God.
You're going to experience.
I'm so excited.
There's more to you than you even knew.
I have never done a training like this before. I am not very athletic.
That is all fine.
And that is why I'm here, because I know you guys are welcoming everybody and
Absolutely.
Anybody, and women included. So le voy a echar ganas, and we're going to see how it goes.
I can't wait. I can't wait till 6 o'clock. What time is it?
I don't even know.
I don't know, but yeah.
Yamero.
Okay,
a
so
little bit.
You're 3 hours before
I have
before
to
you're
mentally
mine.
prepare.
3 hours and you're in my care.
I will be taken care of.
Yes, you will. You will be safe, happy, probably a little sweaty, but
I'm okay with that.
all right.
All right.
Like I said, www.elpasoboxingclub.com. That's
Okay.
our website. We are our Instagram handle. We do a lot of announcements on Instagram about events that are coming up, and that is at L_Paso_ Boxing_club. However, if you just put in the search El Paso Boxing Club, you will see this logo. It's very easy to come up. So that, yeah, you can find us there. That's the best place to get a lot of information. It has a link to the website. We also sell merchandise. But if you want to see what we're doing, our following on Instagram is actually growing. So,
yes,
hey,
absolutely.
Follow us, please. Give us some likes. Give us some hearts. Everything is appreciated. Help us win the algorithm battle, please.
Yes.
And but you can see what we do. We've got video of practices of some of our events, video of our pro events as well. Also, if you're interested in any type of private training, we have myself and a staff that does that too, and you can DM me there, email us there, and we can talk more about that.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Your knowledge, your insight.
It's really fun. Thanks.
All right. Thank you guys so much again for joining us on this episode, and we'll see you next Saturday. Adios.